Welcome to what I'm going to call Mondays with Marilla. I'm going to make a concerted effort to record once a week about what I have learned from years of clinical experience, from a hypnotherapist point of view, from a medical point of view, books that I read, seminars, podcasts, all of these things together. And today is episode number 1. And what I want to talk about is the burden of those people who have done very well academically and professionally in their early life. So I'm biased because I'm going to say that what I'm about to say applies to those who come and seek help. So those are the ones who are not coping. And I'm sure that there's lots of people out there who were excellent students, did well at university, went into good jobs that are having a great time, but not the ones that I see, of course, because they're seeking help. So this is the story. The story is that, sorry, I've got notes here, so I'm going to refer back to them every so often. The good student is typically a smart, responsible, dedicated person who's figured out how to get good grades, right? So they study a lot and they have a big level of responsibility, and they're also, they do get a lot of reward from receiving awards or being commended on being really good at what they're doing. And that doesn't necessarily mean that they're doing what they want, okay? So they enter into that, what I call a treadmill, probably in high school. They're doing very well. Because they're doing very well, people expect them to do good things, and so they start adding things that might add to their professional prospects. So they do the right extracurricular activities, they do the right internships, they go to uni, they do the same thing again. They then go into the first job, which is typically in a good company. They've got a good job, they earn a lot of money, and then they find themselves either very early on, and I have to say I see all sorts of cases. I think I saw a 15-year-old last week, and then a 25-year-old and a 40-year-old, all in the space of 2 weeks, with similar stories, with a deep sense of unhappiness, a crisis of meaning, because what they are doing or their lives causes them a lot of anxiety. And so you'll be wondering, how does that relate to medical hypnotherapy? Well, the relationship is that sometimes it's not only anxiety, it's also physical symptoms. Somebody who's under constant stress and inner turmoil will eventually develop some physical symptoms. It could be migraines, it can be any digestive problems, you can have fibromyalgia, you can have chronic fatigue, all sorts. So here's how I see it. I think people who have gone down that path and they're following a path that is not their vocational passion are told, you're going to do so well in whatever you do. But their heart is not there. And so they're doing it out of responsibility, out of commitment, and also in keeping up with that image that they have built over the years. But their heart is not there. Their heart is not in the activity that they're doing. And eventually, this causes them so much anxiety because they should be happy about where they are in life, they think. And so they have impostor syndrome as well. People congratulate them on their achievements, and they feel like, if they really knew what I feel, they wouldn't like me. But also because the public acceptance of who they are has been so strong, it's very difficult for them to step outside of the norm. You see that the average student, or even the bad student, is used to failing. So attempting something a little bit out of the trodden path is not that difficult for them, but the excellent student has never done that before. They follow the accepted path. They've always won. They've always been at the top of that pedestal where if you're going to try something different, then what are people going to think about me? Am I going to fail? I am supposed to do so well in life. What are they going to think of me if I don't? And so that's when they come and see me. And they're in absolute distress. It's soul crushing to see them. And I tell them, you know what, this is something that you cannot think your way out of. You cannot think your way out of confusion. The only way to figure out that confusion, get some clarity, is by experiencing possible activities, alternatives to what you're doing, and checking with your body how that feels. Because I tell you what, your body is way more reliable than your head. Your head has got all these programs that were instilled in you, socialized into you as a child, as a teenager, and you're carrying those programs in your head, but your body doesn't have that. Your body is going to feel okay, relaxed, engaged when you do activities that you do enjoy. And it's going to feel, uneasy and stressed when you're doing something that you don't want to do. And so I tell people, like, listen, we have the internet now. So what you could do is go and find in the internet alternative activities that you can enroll in. You're going to have to find a little bit of extra time to do that thing too. And so it could be anything. It could be ceramics, or it could be, I don't know, enroll in belly dancing, cycling, something different, completely different, that might open a different space in your mind where you can actually be in flow. And then see how that feels, I have to confess that I was in that group of the overachieving students very early on, primary school, high school, university. I was always in the top of my game, but I didn't actually enjoy any branch of medicine. I remember my professors asking me, so last year, what are you going to do? You're going to be a cardiologist, of course. And I remember walking into a classroom where all the other students were reading an electrocardiogram and they were ecstatic because they had found the wave that showed that this patient had a myocardial infarction. And I was standing there going, oh my God, I have no interest in this. How are they so excited? I'm number one in the class. I'm supposed to be feeling so passionate and excited about this. And I wasn't. And it's only because I found the photography class at night and I enrolled that I started seeing some other aspects of life that I could possibly engage in. And I eventually ended up doing filmmaking. I haven't made a film, but hey, the knowledge that I gained from a 2-year diploma in filmmaking is what allows me nowadays to be filming this here for you, because every technological knowledge that I have today comes from that course. So I tell people, enroll in something new and check with your body how you feel there. And there will be experiences. And by the way, it doesn't need to be just, let's go and do belly dancing. Maybe you want to do a course in AI. Or maybe you have had a curiosity. It doesn't need to have a passion, by the way. It could be a curiosity. Are you curious about plants? Do a paper in herbal medicine and see if that's your thing. So, gosh, I lost my track. Yes, it doesn't need to be a passion. It can be just an interest. The internet is full of options. There's websites for volunteering work where you can do anything from teaching English in Peru. You can go and volunteer in a marine reserve somewhere to go and count corals. You can go and build houses somewhere. You can do all sorts of things as volunteer. And feel your body, okay? Feel your body and find little by little the path that takes you to who you really are. And who you really are is not something that you think about. Who you really are comes from what is it that makes me vibrate and resonate, what makes my heart sing. That is who you are. Simple, very simple, but difficult to imagine until you start doing it. And by the way, of the experiences that you enroll in, some of them are going to be, yes, the right ones for you, and some of them are going to be not for you. And this knowledge is equally valid and valuable. If you like something, then you continue down that path. If you don't like something, then that's a very valuable piece of information that lets you know it's not this way, go there, right? There's a guy called Boyd Vance. His family owns a safari in Africa. Can't recall the country, sorry. but he's in a number of podcasts, and he wrote, I think, 1 or 2 books, and he's a lion tracker, and he does retreats for people. And this is how it's retreats about tracking. And the metaphor is that, how do you track a lion? Well, you start looking for signs that the lion has been there. Does that print on the ground look like a lion? Follow that path. Does that branch there looks like has been cut by a lion passing by? Go that way. Does it look like, okay, there's a kill here. Does that look like it's been killed by a lion? That's the way you go. Well, the same thing happens in your life. What is it that you want to experience? And you choose what it is that you want to experience. Is it joy? Is it aliveness? Is it radiance? Is it contribution, a feeling of satisfaction? Because you have contributed. You have to decide what it is that you want to experience in life. My personal one is joy, right? And so following Vance's advice, the question is, well, this thing that I'm doing, does it give me joy? Cool, continue there. Doesn't give you joy? Wrong path. Change direction. That's not where your joy is. So you're tracking joy by experiencing in your life, and your body is telling you, am I experiencing joy or am I not experiencing joy? Right. So I hope this has been useful. I can tell you that I am so happy that I decided to experiment at the age of, I think I would have been 25, because that opened the path to where I am today. And I am sure I would have been a good medical specialist, but I would have never had the passion and the engagement and the satisfaction that I get out of doing medical hypnotherapy, mind-body medicine, and all of these approaches that I use nowadays. Thank you for your time, and I'll see you next week.